Going on Postgame Show.
It's Gucci.
Johnny, Jimmy, Bobby, Ricky,
Good.
Terry, Danny. We're all here.
Ricky and Mike.
Ricky, Joey, Bobby, Terry, Danny. We're here. Bobby Man
Is that the right order?
It is today.
Bobby's in Chicago. He had a deep dish pizza yesterday. It was a great day.
He had a deep dish pizza. I think he ruined it though. I mean, thoughts on the
I
toppings?
didn't want to say anything, but yeah, tell him why.
Well, he put a bunch of stuff in. It's like, dude, you don't have to do all that. It's too much. He put mushrooms, onions, peppers, and like I think he put like maybe pepperoni in there. It's just
on a deep dish.
I feel like I've never been, so I can only comment to a certain point, but I feel like I would want to keep it simple just to get the true like score. This is like the true taste, like, okay, what's deep dish taste with all this other crap, without all this other crap in it. Anyways, yeah, but Bobby's living it up, Midwest Bobby.
No.
I was thinking that he might go a little bit more crazy with the fit over there, but he looks good. You guys will see him in a bit. He looks good, but he didn't go all out with anything. I was expecting like maybe something a little wacky out west, but he's keeping it tame. Just good.
Yeah, he's probably saving it for the playoffs. Jimmy.
Not embarrassing us, not embarrassing himself.
Yeah, because you don't want to do it big now, and then you have to top yourself in the playoffs. So
that's a really good
Bobby's
point.
Doing it right.
Playoffs are right.
But you know what, Jimmy? I'm with you on that. The locals aren't putting all those toppings on their pizza. That's not how they do it. But that's all right. I'm sure we'll get the taste test from Bobby. He'll let us know how what he thought about the deep dish pizza, Chicago style.
Deep dish. We'll save deep dish for the hour mark. We'll start with tonight.
Yeah, true.
Nowadays, it's how we lead. It's how we lead these shows now. It's this or 80s music or
look. We rate There's multiple things going on right now. It's playoff positioning, trying to figure out where they're going to be. The 2, the 3, the 4, whatever. They've clinched home court. They're going to fall. They could still technically be the 1. If they beat Milwaukee, they're the 2. That's pretty much it. It would seem like. I guess Philly could win out. I don't know and that would change things. Philly could win out and still take it, even if the Celtics went. They could. Philly could win their next 3, and they would end up as the 2. But you beat Milwaukee, and you're avoiding the 4, which means you're avoiding Toronto, which means you're avoiding any potential controversy.
Which means no idea. Fun. That's no fun. We want controversy. We want drama. We want to get answers, folks, and we can't get it.
Jimmy's like, I want Jalen explaining himself as to why he can't go up north. I want to see him at the podium.
I want chaos.
Yeah.
I like chaos, but again.
No, I want him to go. I want him to be able to play. I gotta know.
So we always rate wins based off of like what they mean. Okay. So you play chump opponents and you beat them, you expect it. You play without best players or yada, yada. This was a game against a team they could easily face in the playoffs, and they looked like they were 40 points better than the Bulls. Like, this was the first post-Rob Williams injury game where you looked at the Celtics and be like, they might be fine without Rob, at least for a round.
This felt like a Rob game. Yeah,
against this type of competition. You're right.
Well, you know what, John? I was going to say the exact same, but the reason why it felt like a Rob game, because the other team looked like those teams that just looked like they didn't want to play anymore. Like, there were some parts of this.
Uh-oh.
Did he freeze?
Yeah, he froze. Hey, that reminds us. We should announce the winner of the CLNS media bracket, John.
They did. Oh yeah, phenomenal one.
Phenomenal beat out Brockton Wi-Fi, but as you guys can see, Brockton Wi-Fi lives on because it's
let me show you. It's still there. Look at it.
Brockton Wi-Fi will never go away. So even if it didn't win, it's still winning.
Yeah, Scal said phenomenal something like 11 times.
He did say phenomenal tonight. He did say phenomenal tonight. I heard that, and I chuckled. I'll admit I did.
I don't even know if I'm letting him back in.
Yeah, he needs to like prove himself that he can stay on the line for a couple minutes in the corner there.
All right, let's see what happens.
All right.
No, John, put the headphones back on. Last time it was good. Issue. No, all right. Look, it was.
What were you saying, Josue?
It was one of those games that the other team looked defeated, like well after halftime. It was like, all right, let's pack it in, guys. Like it felt like they were just trying to make it respectable, and that's exactly what the Celtics were doing to teams before Rob went down. This is the first game I felt that same sort of vibe from the other team. Now, look, they've also won other lopsided victories since Rob's gone down, but this is the first time it's like Yeah, I thought I was frozen for a second. You guys, you guys.
Jimmy, we should just
you
go.
guys picked me out for a second. You guys did that on purpose. I was looking around like, am I frozen? This is one of the first times. This is like the first time since, because the other games were blowouts, right? I hate you guys. The other games were blowouts, but the opposing team was still fighting. I didn't see stop it, Jimmy. I didn't see that this time around. You didn't see that with the Bulls. The Bulls were fighting hard. I mean, the Bulls weren't fighting hard. They were defeated. Yeah, I'll get you all back.
Man.
I was this close. I was this close to dropping a bunch of F-bombs, being like this fucking thing, like just going up.
All right, Jesus.
But it was good stuff, and I love this comment here. The Brownie Award goes
in this show, please.
Brownie Award goes to Deep Dish Pizza.
That was
and Jalen, guys, we gotta give him props, man. 10 straight games, 25 plus points. Come on, man. That's a nice round number. We haven't even mentioned it. I feel like
I love this.
10 games in a row. He scored 25 plus.
See, we don't have a Boston accent, but we can slip in and out of one if we really want to.
I've been known to slip in a couple of fucking.
When Jimmy's fired up, if you look at the old episodes from the beginning of the regular season, you'll see that accent.
Don't get me angry. Don't get me angry.
Exactly.
Go back to
that's
Southie Jim or something like that, just like that.
Yeah.
But no, we're good. We lose our accents once we get into the media world, right? Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah,
A
little bit.
Yeah, dude.
I never had it.
The frustration though of seeing a team dig themselves in the same hole over and over again. That also does it too.
Yeah.
Sure.
What
was I going to say about this game? Okay, let me just start at the very beginning. It was just, and I said it already, it just felt, this was the first game I felt like this is what it looked like when they had Rob and they were just murdering teams.
Murdering people, exactly.
And they just sucked the life out of them immediately. And the Bulls just, they didn't want to be here. They did not want to take the court for the second half. It was just, you could see the frustration with DeRozan. And I mean, I love DeRozan, great player, MVP caliber types. He's not going to win MVP, but he was right up there for most of the year. There was nothing he could do tonight. There just wasn't, and we keep talking about playoff matchups and seedings and nobody wants to play the Celtics. I don't think anybody wants to play the Celtics. I really don't. With Rob or without Rob, they're just
doesn't matter.
They're a pain in the ass to play against.
They're a pain in the ass to play against, but they're also playing great basketball going into the playoffs. You want to be trending upwards going into the people talk about it all the times. You want to be going in the right direction as the playoffs, come here. And that's what the whole regular season is all about, is preparing for, the playoffs. And these guys are literally playing their best basketball with 2 games to go in the regular season, where other teams like the Bulls, we've seen Miami slip up a bit, even though they beat the Celtics recently. I mean, you can go down the line.
And they turned it up late here.
The Nets, they did.
Yeah.
The Nets are struggling, though, mightily. There are a lot of teams that are not playing good basketball right now, and the Celtics are not one of them. I don't know any single team that would be like, yeah, we want the Celtics.
Again,
no, there's no way.
That's the thing. Again, this was the first post-Rob injury win where you're like, they did the same things they would do with Rob and just suffocated a team, frustrated the hell out of them. They looked like they were on a string defensively. Offensively, the ball was moving. Boom, 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 boom. It just,
Bulls were on a back-to-back. Somebody just mentioned it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, you got to mention it, but I still think the Celtics outplayed them.
Little bit of breaking news-ish. Okay, so you're entering tomorrow's game, and again, the Bulls were on a back-to-back. The Celtics are on a back-to-back. It's a funky schedule where they get Milwaukee tomorrow, and then they're off on Friday, and then they don't play again until Sunday. Milwaukee's got to stuff 3 games in between now and Sunday, and so that's kind of why. So that's just how the schedule breaks down. Emilio Doka a short while ago said that the Celtics may consider resting players tomorrow versus Bucks. We'll see how guys feel. Yeah. So we said this before the game, and I don't know how much it makes sense from a basketball standpoint to rest against Milwaukee. You don't know if they're trying to get to a different seeding or not. We don't know what the Bucks are going to do. But again, they very cleverly put Tatum, Brown, and Horford all on the injury report today and went through this whole charade of they'll test it out pregame and see how they're going. I don't think so. I think they're setting up the likelihood that they'll pull them out tomorrow. And again, I know you get the league breathing down your neck about just resting guys for no reason at all. So again, they have to keep up with this whole, we'll see how they're feeling, and they're laying the bricks for this right now with, like I said, they were all on the injury report. They're all testing out their injuries before the game. I really think they're all sitting tomorrow. I think you're getting the Toronto lineup tomorrow.
You know what?
White,
I'm
Smart,
fine with
Tice,
that.
Grant, and that's it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm fine with that I'm fine with this for one reason, is like teams shouldn't be forced to put all this extra strain on their players right before the playoffs. Like, it's idiotic.
Do what you want to do. Manage your team.
Here's an idea.
Yeah, this is the time.
Put it back to back. Don't put it back to back on the schedule a week before the playoffs, like, or a week before the regulars, whatever. I know the playoffs, there's a break and everything, but just avoid the back-to-backs late in the season, and you won't have to worry about teams benching guys late in the season where otherwise it'd be important games. Like, that's just foolish. Just don't do that. You weren't into that. The other thing, though, is if they do bench those 3 players, well, now you run the risk of losing that game, and now you're wondering, okay, are they that concerned about seeding or who they're
doing it to everybody. Philly and the Bucks both have back-to-backs coming up.
I know. I get it.
I'm saying everybody, like, they're squeezed. I don't know why the NBA squeezed so many games. Why would you have teams playing back-to-back at the end of the season? It is bizarre, Jimmy. I agree.
Yeah. So I think that's why they put that extra day in, but still, yeah. And plus, it's all on the road. I mean, the last 3 games on the road, like that's another weird thing about.
You give the players all this extra time for the All-Star break, and then you cram a bunch of games in the last week of the year. Like, what do you expect teams to do? Go all out in a couple of meaningless, for some teams, meaningless games, and for some teams, it's not meaningless, but they have to balance being healthy and rested and not risking a stupid injury on the second to last game of the regular season. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense that the NBA would do it that way. So I don't know how they can even punish teams for benching their guys straight up. Like, yeah, we're not playing our guy because we want to be healthy going into the playoffs. That said, if the Celtics do that, does that tell you that they're not really that concerned about going to Toronto or really playing anybody? I mean, because you would think that they would definitely be an underdog, I mean, for sure. If those players aren't playing tomorrow, they might be an underdog regardless. But you don't go into Milwaukee without even 2 of those 3 guys thinking that you're going to win that game.
Well, it's a good thing they won this game, right, Jimmy?
Sorry, Josue, what was that?
No, I was going to say, I just said it's a good thing they won this game, though, right?
Right.
Because I don't know what the Celtics are more afraid of. And maybe you guys can help me with this. Are they more afraid of facing the Nets in the first round or dropping down and potentially meeting the Raptors in a 4-5 series? Now, you guys know the reason behind both of those.
It depends. It depends. If their guys are vaccinated, then obviously they'd rather play the Raptors. But if their guys
something tells me they'd be a lot more afraid to do this if they had lost today. Because then you risk the chance of losing both games, and then you could slip down to the 4th seed. Them winning this game puts them in good shape of not slipping down. Even if you lose Wednesday, or even if you lose Thursday night's game, you're probably going to see a team that's somewhat at full strength in that last game when it all matters, and we'll see how everything breaks down. But because they won this game, I think they have that. They sort of have that.
The 4 is in play if they lose tomorrow. So that's got to tell you something.
That's true. It's still in play. That's true.
If they're avoiding,
but it'd be worse.
If they're worried about Toronto, they would not be resting starters tomorrow. So that's got to tell you something.
Exactly. That's what I think too.
Right, because this opens up the real possibility. You lose this one, and Milwaukee, wins out. You could be the 4.
Oh my God. Some of these comments are insane, but.
I don't know what they want to do. It's so funny because people with conviction will say, "Nah, they want the 2. Nah, we want the 2. No, we want the 4." I don't know what I don't know what we should want. I think I want to play the Bulls in round 1, so I'd like to get the 3, honestly. But
after what I just said, I'll take the Bulls.
I feel better about the 3.
Want the Nets now.
I'd feel better about the 3 if Philly were the 2. And in order for that to happen, you need to beat Milwaukee tomorrow, lose to Memphis, and Philly's got to win their next 3. And if that happens, Philly gets the 2, you're the 3, Milwaukee's the 4.
Why does Philly want the 2? Like, nobody should be really.
I don't know if they do. I'm just saying that that's in play.
Right. It's in play, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they'd be.
But I want this team again. I want this Bulls team again.
I would be fine with the Bulls. I'd be fine with who can they play? Who's even all right? What are the actual? Because we're narrowing it down here. So there's some teams that aren't even in play anymore. Right.
Well, there's Chicago, there's Toronto.
Yeah. I'm fine with either of those teams, assuming that everyone can play in Toronto.
I guess.
Is Cleveland still an option? I don't even know. I should have known this before I jumped on. But
Cleveland is because they're the 7.
They're still an option at the 7.
Whoever wins that 7-8 matchup becomes the 7.
That's what
and then the other one is the 8 playing the 9-10 winner. So again, if Brooklyn wins that first game, If they're in the 8 spot, they win that first game. They're the 7 seed, and and then Cleveland falls to 8, or
They bump up.
at best 8.
I mean,
Cleveland-
I said this on
yeah.
Spaces, John. I think the Celtics should be able to beat any team in the first round. Any team in the East right now, I think the Celtics can beat. So I'm not really sweating over the first round matchup. I know they're not going to play. I know a couple of teams that they're not going to. Mostly, I don't think they're going to play the Bucks in the first round. I don't think they're going to play the Heat in the first round. But the teams that are slotted to play against, I'm not concerned about any of those teams. My only concern is if Jaylen Brown and Al Horford can't play in Toronto. I have no idea. I mean, we're trying to be to Texas about it. John, you've made some pretty good connecting the dots to make you think that neither of them were vaccinated, at least prior to today. Whether or not they got today, we don't know. But
that's what Jimmy thought your breaking news was. He thought that you're going to be like,
yeah,
so and so just said he's not doing
I
it.
thought it was gonna be
He's
something
not
like
getting it.
No, just the rest, because that's the whole interesting thing is what's going to happen tomorrow. Like the Bucks don't have a reason to tomorrow because they've had a day off and then they have a back-to-back the next day. So it makes sense for Milwaukee to play the starters tomorrow, lock up their seating, rest them on the next game. Rest them on the next two if you want. I have no idea, but tomorrow would be weird because I think that would be a choice, like tank it. Or also you might just not want to show a potential playoff opponent anything. And just
garbage.
But I don't buy that. You do that in football, not in basketball,
right. I mean, they've played each other a few times this year. It is what it is. Like
Bobby just texted. He's in. Al Horford's talking. Sounds like he's sitting out tomorrow. I really do think it's a bench game tomorrow. We'll see what Milwaukee throws out there. But yeah, my best case scenario is the Celtics 3, Sixers 2, because those are the matchups you want. You want the Bulls in round 1 and the Sixers in round 2. If you're going to pick teams
Celtics
that you want to
3,
play,
Sixers 2.
I agree with that.
Okay,
that's the ultimate. You can't force that to happen. But Phil,
that means
Philly
Bucks go to 4.
If you lose tomorrow, right? But
the Bucks are going to win tomorrow, though.
That's the problem. You'd have to beat the Bucks tomorrow.
Well, you don't know if they're going to rest their guys. They could rest their guys too.
They could rest their guys.
Well,
it's
John
hard.
just
You
made
can't.
a case for why they wouldn't.
You can't control it. So you just have to.
You know what we could do instead of talking about this for an hour? We could just wait and see who they play in about 12 hours.
Well, I mean, look, there's only 2
and then talk about it after that game.
There's only 2 pieces of intrigue left right now. One is seeing if the team can come together, in the absence of Rob. And I think tonight answered that like in a pretty satisfactory way because we were talking about it on Spaces today. Like the only upshot to them playing guys here is they got to figure out how they're doing this, with these guys. They haven't played, they didn't play a good game against Miami or a full game against Miami. The Indiana game, the defense was all over the place. And then they played a JV team against Washington. So you really wanted to see 1 or 2 games of them like really put it together. And they looked awesome tonight. So like, I think you can kind of check that box and be like, okay, that's a good one. Now do whatever, like you wanted to get that out of your system just to know that you had it in the bag. And I think they did tonight. They looked great. So do whatever now. Rest guys, like why would you play guys on the back-to-back? You can't really concern yourself with outcomes and seedings at this point. You have to do what's best. I don't want these guys risking injury going out there on a pointless back-to-back right now to maybe position yourself somewhere. At this point, you just got to kind of let it fall wherever it does. But those are really the only 2 stories.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You don't want to rock. You don't want to rock the boat right now because the momentum is there with Al. You want to keep him fresh. I had pretty much by the third quarter, the way Al's playing, I had it in my mind. He's definitely not playing tomorrow night, and that's good. You have a nice tune-up on Sunday. That's not a it's not a lackluster team. We're not quite sure who they're going to put out, but that's a Memphis Grizzlies team that could give you a nice tune-up going into the playoffs because you're going to have a lot of days off between then and the game 1 of your first round series.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all wearing the same hoodies tonight, guys.
I know.
We did not tell each other this. We did not plan this.
We're not even going to mention the brand until we get another sponsor deal. All right.
Yeah. Actually, next time I come on, I'm going to have to put a little piece of paper over this.
I'm going to put a Nike swoosh over it.
If you know, you know.
No, we don't do that for Nike either. We don't do that for Nike either. I have to just.
You could make an argument that you're a day one viewer. If you know this hoodie.
Real ones know. Yeah, real ones know.
The real ones. If you know, you know.
Real ones, no, but did they actually use the promo code and keep the sponsor around? No, probably not. Jerks.
We all
I
just
would
did
think
it.
the real ones did, not the ones hopping on the bandwagon now.
I'll be honest. These are super comfortable. So if we do get sponsored by this company that we shall not name, if we do get sponsored by them again, I would recommend everyone purchasing something.
We do have one sponsor coming back. I'm not giving them any freebies until they do, but we have a very popular sponsor returning possibly
yeah?
for the playoffs.
I like that. I like that.
Nice.
I
So,
think I know
somebody's
it
been
too.
watching the Celtics. Somebody's been watching. Somebody was in
They're
somebody was
gearing
in
up.
the
They're
meeting.
gearing up for the playoff run. They know that that's where they can get the most bang for their buck. When
Exactly. Somebody
when
was in the
views
weekly
take off.
meeting.
Views
Like,
take
these
off.
guys are surging right now.
Yeah. As far as this game, it was nice to see kind of Tice do, have a solid game. Horford.
Happy birthday, Tice.
Horford had a perfect game.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah. Shut up.
He pitched a perfect game. So that was incredible.
What was Horford's number? Oh, you got him up there. Okay, cool. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty perfect.
Zero fouls.
That's right.
Pretty
I
perfect.
think Wedman had
Al's
like
focused right now.
like a Scott Wedman game.
Tice, 15 points on 6 of 12 shooting. That's pretty good for him. I mean,
Yep.
It's really good for him.
And 0 turnovers.
A game where you won by as much as you did and you were in control the whole time, and Jason Tatum only had to score 16 points. Like, that's pretty sweet.
Tatum was dishing dimes.
He was.
When
they had like
game.
8 assists. Is that a career high?
No,
but Jalen tied a career high in steals. He had 4.
Was it a season high then? I thought I saw something say, "Oh, it's like a high. It's a high or something like that." Maybe
the
it was
seven was a first half high, but he only had one in the second half.
That's what I saw. First half.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, we talked about and again, going back to the Spaces conversation, we talked about it was that the starting lineup is what made them so dominant. And just the numbers of the 5 when they were together were just, I mean, historically good, not just good for this year. They're head and shoulders above everyone else. So watching the starting lineup, watching the first 5 dominate the way they did tonight, every single one of them was a plus 20. They just destroyed the Bulls starters. And again, I know Lonzo's out and that hurts. And they sat Caruso. With Lonzo and Caruso, they're going to play a good bit better defense for sure. But I mean, you're talking about 3 all-star caliber players in Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic out there. These aren't lumps by any means. And they just killed them. They just absolutely.
What's Caruso's deal? Is he coming back soon? Yeah, I mean,
Caruso's fine. He played yesterday. He just rested.
Okay, so he's
Lonzo's out though. But
Lonzo's donezo. Caruso will be in the playoffs. So I mean, they'll be a tougher team in the playoffs. Every team will.
Damn, Jimmy, so insensitive.
Lonzo
Donzo. That'd be my headline in the post.
Damn, Jimmy, it's been 72 hours. Just happened. But no, I'm with you, John. To what you were saying. They just completely took control. And you know what else too? Also, I think one of the biggest indicator of that was just the way they were getting into the teeth of the defense. Like those passes in the paint between Tyson and Horford, those pull-up jumpers from those guys, from 5-7 feet. It was once you get a string of those going, and in the Chicago Bulls, what more can we do, man? They're getting these easy bunnies. They're passing everywhere. They have 19 assists before halftime. I mean, look, even without Lonzo Ball, even without Caruso, they're one of their better, if not best defenders between both of those guys. It's still the Celtics are sending a message right now. I feel and they got the momentum going.
Yeah,
and honestly, it's Lonzo Gonzo, not Lonzo Dunzo.
That would have been.
Okay.
I know. I just see that Lonzo Gonzo.
Yeah, I'm a professional.
That really pissed off John. Yeah, that really
Lonzo Gonzo. That would have came to me. That would have came to me before.
He wasn't even listening to what I was saying. As soon as I finished, just Jimmy, it's not. If you're gonna do it,
all I was thinking about was how I missed that.
I mean, it's on a platter.
In my defense, I didn't say Dunzo. I just said Dunzo, not realizing it was about Lonzo, and then I put 2 and 2 together. Now, but yeah, the Gonzo definitely. But yeah, but Caruso's the X factor over there.
Didn't even cross my mind, Jimmy.
Caruso's the reason the Lakers missed the playoffs this year. Think about that.
Think about that.
I am actually thinking about it.
You
know what I'm thinking about?
I'm pretty floored by it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how I saw some meme somewhere, but remember how Anthony Davis's dad was talking about loyalty and the whole Isaiah Thomas thing? He'll never play for Boston, and You know,
Yeah,
they traded away these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but the meme really made me think about just the what could have been, right? The Lakers traded away all those young guys with plenty of potential, gave you a heck of a season. Now look where they are, and look where the Lakers are. You know, it's just kind of like one of those things where you look back on, you're like, what were you guys thinking? But then again, this was LeBron doing what he's done before in other organizations, and I feel like the Lakers just went with it. And how could they not after this?
Yeah.
Coming off a championship, you know,
It's almost like trading Desmond Bain so somebody else would pay for Enes Kanter so you could sign Tristan Thompson. You know, it's almost like that bad.
Wow.
I mean, almost. I don't know.
You didn't have to go there. You did not have to go there. Speaking of Tristan Thompson,
it's almost that bad. Only to re-sign Kanter a year later.
Blast from the past tonight. Well, speaking of Tristan Thompson, I couldn't believe, like you said, John, I couldn't believe that guy was still employed.
2 things that shocked me. Actually, 2.5. Tristan being a Bull, I was like, huh? And then and Porzingis being on the Wizards and Porzingis's hair. Both of those things. I was like, who's this 7'3" friggin' Richie Cunningham? Like, who is this guy with the 1950s part, you know, side part?
It's like a new beginning, all right? It's a new beginning and a new season.
I was so
Plus,
shocked.
He was banged up when he got there. Everyone's like, is this guy even gonna play this year? So I get it. He's trying to get a new look, new chapter in his career. Like, geez.
Yeah.
But it was a little off.
He's definitely going through something. Anytime somebody goes through, like, it starts
what do
with
you
their
mean?
hair.
Of course he's going through something, man. He was like a top tier big man.
Starts with the hair.
Now he's like getting traded left and right.
You know, whether it's, you know, a guy might shave his head, all his hair off, or a girl might, like, all of a sudden she's got purple hair, like something's going on. Like, that's the red flag, is it starts with the hair. They just need like a fresh start.
John definitely thought Tristan Thompson was still in Sacramento. No question.
Oh, dude.
I knew a couple things happened. I knew he got shipped somewhere, and then and then they got bought out, and I lost it, and I didn't know Chicago grabbed him after that. I knew he was in street clothes, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I hear about Tristan Thompson anymore is when there's like a girl being like, "Yeah, he's the father." That's the only time I hear Tristan Thompson. Never about basketball.
We joke about it. Does it not seem like a lifetime ago that Brad was starting Thompson and Tice for like 40 games, and we were like, stop!
Yeah.
It was last year.
Oh, man.
And
my God, stop,
Rob was topped out.
What are you
Rob
doing?
was topped out of like 13 minutes a game. Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad.
Reliving those conversations of both, you know, Bobby going on is like, Tice, their defense has been elite for the last 3 games with, you know, Thompson. And like, Rob sitting there on the bench, just frigging defying gravity and like expectations and just doing all this crazy stuff. And we're like, I just can't believe we went through that last year, you know?
Me and Bobby hung on as long as we could with the Tristan Thompson.
You did.
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, you guys
like,
did.
no, he's a proven winner. He knows what it takes. It's like, nah, he just
gets bored.
He just hung on tight to LeBron James's leg and just like was like, take me to the finish line. like 90% of his LeBron's teammates over his career have done.
Yeah, I never loved it because I just didn't think they needed a big. You know, so like I didn't love it positionally, but I still thought he'd be fine. But I mean, for like a few games in, where I was like, you know, let's stop. Yeah. Let's stop this. Stop doing it.
I'm with you. I mean, I just feel like they needed a little bit of an edge at that time, right? And you know, you thought he would come. You know, you thought he would come in thinking it was like a second opportunity to play for the Cavs again, but he was kind of lax. You know, I felt like he just never really found his stride.
It's amazing though, like just chilling. To think about it. You know, like we come in and Ime goes in right back to the well with the double big, and we're like, oh no. You know, like Brad told him he had to do it, you know, like, and we're like, this is going to be terrible. And it was not terrible. It's actually amazing. And like, you know, built this super lineup. It took about 35, 40, 45 games to get it going, which is crazy. But it really does seem like a lifetime ago that like Thompson and Tice were starting. You just think about the lineup. Think about that opening lineup. Sure, you had the two wings with Kemba, but those 2 guys starting. And now it's Rob and Horford. What massive upgrades over what you started this last year with, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. You'll take that over a 19-point debut from Jeff Teague for sure.
We underestimated how much that really those two players were going to really improve things because we didn't really know what to expect from Al.
No,
we thought that it was
amazing.
just kind of like a cost-saving type move, and we didn't know what to expect from Rob because, we've seen him at the highest of
Wild
highs,
card. Yeah.
literally and figuratively, and we've seen him, not be
Yeah.
able to get on the court. So, Al exceeded all expectations this year, and I think Rob at points did as well. I mean, especially when, right before he went down. So those guys really did change a huge aspect of the way the Celtics played, compared to last season. I mean, of course, they're always going to go as Tatum and Brown go, but you still need players around them. And we didn't even mention Marcus Smart's ability to finally, sort of adapt to his point guard role as well. So all those things happen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because someone just asked for apology cam for double big, which I think is fair in the sense of we all thought double big was wrong, the wrong thing to do this year and the wrong lineup. And we were talking about tweaking it as time went on as well. But do you do an apology cam for something that literally everybody hated? Like if universally
you should.
If universally nobody liked double big, aren't we all guilty? Aren't we all wrong?
Yeah, I mean,
if we went out on our own and said this is the worst, and everyone's like, "You guys are crazy," I could see that, but I think everybody hated it.
But also in our defense, everything was the worst. Like
everything was wrong,
horrible. So
everything was horrible.
I literally wanted to cancel the team like a few months ago. So apology cam for that. There's no way I was the only one who just did not want to turn on.
And Bobby doesn't count if Bobby was going along with something, because Bobby goes along with everything. Okay, at first. So it doesn't matter if he supported it in the beginning.
Wait, what did they say Bobby did?
He supported it. He supported the move.
He supported double big.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Yeah, of course. Of course he did. He has to come on here to defend himself, though.
Yeah.
He can't do it for
him.
But
I would, if we want to put all of us in a box, we put the whole fan base in the box for literally thinking
everyone in the chat gets in the box. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone gets, all the email haters get in the box, get in the apology box. None of us would be in there. We never went hard on email when a lot of the fan base was basically just pointing the finger at email because they refused to blame any of the players. We didn't do that year. So apology cam to everyone who did that. John.
I know we could go on and on.
Just tear the ACLs and call it a day.
Get it over with. Rehab and you'll be back stronger.
Bobby thought double big was phenomenal, even when they were 23 and 24.
Well, don't forget, Bobby also has an Al Horford jersey hanging behind him when he does a lot of these shows. So his affinity for double big is a little
double big is a lot better when one of the bigs is not Tristan Thompson. That's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson. That's the last time we mentioned him on the show.
I know. We weren't expecting to tonight,
No,
This might be it. This might be it.
Spit out my food when I saw him after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the state of the Bulls, I guess, right? I mean, if he's getting important, this game must have meant nothing to the Bulls at that point, right? I mean, they must just throw in the white flag or throw in the towel, whatever the saying is.
Throw in the towel.
Throw in the white towel.
Wait a second. I have to do an apology.
What are you looking at? I know you're looking at something.
Yeah, Josue.
Someone says you need to apologize for what?
No, not Josue.
The white trade? Are we really?
Oh, don't get John started on that.
Nah,
he's not apologizing for that. Not even close.
You were just reminding everyone of what we're getting in Derek White, pretty much. Like, don't get all excited for that first performance where he went off from, shooting wise.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if there's any other stuff here from the post game. Nothing noteworthy yet.
Cruising too. Yeah.
Breaking down the playoff picture right now, just to kind of like recap it. And I do have it in front of me here. Just what the scenarios are. I'll get to that in a second. But
what does that even mean?
Said, they can't finish lower than 4, but they can still finish 4. A win against Milwaukee eliminates that possibility tomorrow. So I think that's where they're at right now. But it looks like they're going to rest some people for tomorrow, so we'll see. You really can't place where they're going to be because, as we said, Philly can still win out. So it's still completely up in the air. But
they got 3 games.
Yeah, they pretty much know that. I mean, technically, they're still in play for the 1, but realistically, they're somewhere in here between 2 and 4. So yeah, so that's what we got. That's what we got. Other things tonight that you guys liked?
What did I like tonight? Well, I liked the bench somewhat. I thought the bench was Pritchard did some nice things out there, early on in the game, had a nice couple of shots, threes.
Couple shots.
Nothing
Nothing
I think he's
crazy.
going to be important in the playoffs just to give you that little spark off the bench. Obviously, Josue mentioned him off the top, but Jaylen Brown is still on a bit of a heater. I thought he missed a couple bunnies, but overall, he was aggressive, very aggressive. A couple of threes.
Our producer doesn't even make me Jalen graphics anymore because he knows we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, it's just insane.
I was just looking for it. Yeah.
Just look at everyone's face as soon as his name is mentioned. Jeez.
I was looking for it. I'll throw it up, and I was like, I don't even have one. He didn't even make me one.
Those are the couple of players, I guess, that Tice. I mean, we talked about Tice on Spaces today, John. I think it's important to give Tice a shout out. He was pretty important in that first half. Really in the
awesome.
first quarter, first 15 minutes of the game. I mean, I thought he was all over the place. Yeah, look at that. 15 points, 6 to 12, taking 3-pointers. You have to like commit to Tice from the outside. You can't just cheat off him because he will.
Well, that's a huge thing because teams are cheating off him. So he's got to take them, and he's got to make them pay.
Yeah, I mean, 1 for 4 isn't great, but I mean, he's 2 for 4. That's a whole different story. So, I mean, the fact that he can stretch the floor and take that shot, teams are going to be forced to play up on him, and that's going to open things up for other guys that can, whether it's driving to the paint or swinging the ball around the perimeter. They have to adjust a little bit without Rob out there because Rob doesn't have that outside shot. Teams aren't really concerned about him taking that. It's not part of his game yet. I do think he can develop a nice 15-footer, and we've seen like signs of it, but it's not there where he's like comfortable doing it. And they're, to be honest, they're not really drawing up plays for that to happen. They want him at the rim. They want lobs to him, and that's not Tice. So there's a little bit of a difference in style and play here, but both are effective in their own ways. I mean, Tice is doing his thing, and he's going to end up being pretty damn important in this first round playoff series here. So, that's a matchup that you're going to definitely want to look for opponent wise. You certainly don't want to end up playing against a team with like a super dominant big because it's not really Tice's style. He's not going to like bang down low with a guy and go, above the rim.
Well, I mean, look, you got Vucevic didn't really take advantage of the matchup there. And it's, again, you've got Allen there. So he's just going to be able to body a big like that. You're really not at risk right now of facing someone who you're really worried about.
Yeah, you're not going to get Embiid round 1.
Yeah, you're not getting Embiid round 1. You've obviously got like size in Milwaukee with Giannis and, Lopez in that front court. You do have the bigs at Cleveland. They're just not playing right now, and I don't know what their status is. But, I mean, the Mobley-Allen situation there obviously can get a little bit dicey. If you end up with Brooklyn, you're not worried about anything that they're going to do there on the interior. You do have –
Give me Brooklyn. Give me Brooklyn. I want Brooklyn.
Yeah, at this point, I want it because I like the story.
I love the story. I want Brooklyn because I like the story, but I also think they can win too.
Yeah,
and so that makes it even better. Because don't forget, I mean, no one's going to forget, but Brooklyn knocked your ass out last year. This is a little right. This can be a little bit of payback, like now you do the knockouts side.
I think it's meaningful. I honestly think it's meaningful, especially for someone like Jason Tatum. I mean, this is like a stepping stone. This is like a get past these bad guys, and my confidence is going to reach a whole nother level. And I think that's going to resonate with
Brooklyn. Philly's
team,
a fun
honestly.
first round series too, though.
Brooklyn Philly would be great because Embiid and Durant have a definite dislike with each other. I mean, I'm sure the respect is there, but they definitely get emotional out there. But I mean, tell me it wouldn't be fun to have the Nets into Boston? How like loud and just awesome that would be.
Yeah.
Villains.
I mean, they get Chicago. Like, is that really gonna fire anybody up? I mean, even Toronto, like, that's why that's crazy for a different reason. That's not really like big rivalry. I mean, I like beating up on Toronto because I can't stand the Toronto fans, even though I do like some of their fans. There are
I love the balls on those guys. They
Oh,
are
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I love the fans.
They're
at the same
awesome.
time,
They come
they're
at
a little
you.
crazy.
They are cocky. They're friggin' great. I love Toronto fans.
That was the
what makes
best
it
series
fun,
of the
but-
bubble. No question.
I
That was the
love
best series
those
of the
guys.
bubble.
It was definitely. That's kind of like jump off of our show, to be completely honest. But nothing's gonna beat a
Yeah.
Celtics Nets first round matchup. So that's the reason why I want that to happen. So, and if the Celtics can't
Yeah,
beat the
man.
Nets,
There's so many
if the
storylines.
Celtics, if you're scared of the Celtics not being able to beat a Nets team that's without, Ben Simmons and, a couple other guys that are banged up, then you're not confident enough in the Celtics where you even think they're going to go far in the playoffs anyway. So what's the point?
Again, I really do believe that it's all about, if you're viewing it as surviving Rob, I still worry about the Nets. Just like I said, to me, the range of possibilities with the Nets is they beat you and go to the conference finals, or you sweep them in 4. Like neither one would be stunning, right? But it's just, they're scary. Just Durant is a scary human being, Kyrie is scary. They're just, they're great players, and with championship pedigrees. It's, for all the flaws that Brooklyn has, you've got those guys, but yeah, they're a bit of a mess.
Don't you feel like they're like the Celtics is Goliath though? Like you don't feel like that a little bit? Like they feel like if they beat them that they can beat anybody.
That's
after
fine.
That?
It's a great story if you can. I'm just looking at it as a survive in advance sort of thing. And for some reason, that's the one where I'm like, it's still going to stick there. I know realistically you look at them and you're like, geez, they got to struggle to beat the Knicks and they can't play defense. And this team's a mess. And who's there is, but it's still KD and Kyrie. And, we've been over it. It's just, there's the fear factor still exists, whether deservedly or not.
Yeah, the fear. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, you're going up against two of the best NBA players currently, and one of which Kevin Durant all time. So of course there's a risk in going up against them.
Yeah,
but if you honestly
wouldn't it be great? Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna harp on it. But if you honestly think the Celtics can't do it, then they don't belong in the playoffs. Because I think the way the Celtics are playing team basketball right now, they should be able to beat.
Yeah, I just want them to be whole again. I don't want them to lose before they get Rob, and we can see how far they can actually go. Because again, pre-Rob injury, this is a team that you had to reset the expectations. Not getting to the conference finals would have been a massive disappointment the way that they're playing. So right now, I do think it's Eastern Conference Finals or bust at this point, because that's what this team's supposed to be. Now that we've seen it.
Bulls,
anything short of that
is Bulls, Raptors, Cavs are your top 3 teams that you want to play. Then simple as that.
Probably.
Yeah. Not probably. Definitely.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But also, wouldn't it be, again, we're talking about stories, wouldn't it be just great to watch Kyrie fold against the Celtics the same way he did against the Bucks?
And that might put an end to that whole Nets team.
I would love that.
And just and like LeBron taking off the shirt and going to the tunnel, like you want to end that Nets team. You want to end them. Watching Kyrie just chump out and be awful and just cave the way he did against Milwaukee, it would be such a great full circle moment for the franchise. Yeah.
That's what makes it a story. That's what makes it great. That's what takes it to that next level. Yeah. You can beat the Bulls in 6. Okay, sweet.
And Durant's still a storyline too. You got to remember that. If you're Brad Stevens, man, you were in that room when you were next to Tom Brady, rubbing elbows, trying to convince the guy to come to Boston. Like if I'm Brad, I'm not forgetting that shit. Like
and Kelly,
stick it to him.
Yeah, that's true too.
and Kelly with the tie-dye shirt, wondering what the hell is he doing there. But he was in that room.
We looked so low grade. It's like when Boston tries to pump when Boston tries to play the celebrity game, and you're like, oh, it's a Wahlberg. Like we're just so low rent.
I can't do it. Yeah, I know. It was so painful to see.
Brady and Kelly.
Kevin, you ever heard of New Kids on the Block? Like, check them out. They're right. Yeah, it kind of felt like that.
Honestly,
like Kelly represented.
Durant may have been winning.
Bell Biv DeVoe.
New Edition used to play around here. Durant may have been winning until that meeting, and then he had that meeting. He's like, you know what? It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna work here.
He's like,
oh god.
You know what though? Screw Durant. He's one of the honestly most unlikable, least likable athletes that I can even remember. So like,
he's up there.
It is what it is. Like he went to Golden State and he jumped on there and he won a ring. And I just saw a quote that he thinks his number should be retired in Golden State.
Who?
Who says
Durant.
that? He said that?
Oh, shut
Unless
up.
it was a fake quote, unless I got duped. I did read something that he said it should be retired in Golden State and in Oklahoma City. So don't quote me on that, but I did
No,
see it on the
not-
internet somewhere.
I don't think that's true.
I did see
That
it
would
on the
be-
internet. I'm gonna look it up right now. Hold on.
That'd be a wild thing to say right now. That would be insane.
I probably got duped.
Probably.
I probably just got.
No,
No, I didn't.
Wrapping up.
No,
We're
I
gonna
didn't.
get a.
This is
real?
This is from The Athletic.
Jimmy leads the league in showing his phone. It's such a boomer move. Like, look here.
You guys read that? See that? white
No,
box?
I
It
can't.
never
Dad.
works, dude. It never
He goes, I put in the
Jimmy,
time.
it's
and
right
respect
here
and
on the
love."
telephone.
Let me finish.
Guys,
the
you
quote.
see? You
Let me
guys see
finish
the
this
through the
quote. Kevin Durant is
LED
getting his
lighting?
jersey retired by each NBA team he's played for. I put in the time and respect and love for each one of these programs on and off the floor to get that type of recognition. If I don't do it, then it's personal.
This poor guy is just going to be
Seriously.
miserable for the rest of his life because he's just not going to feel that anybody has given him his proper due everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, dude.
I bet you he gets mad like at the coffee shop, you know, because like it wasn't like handed to him the right
They
way.
asked
Like
for 2
everything's
creams, you know, like
everything's
tastes like
disrespect.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he doesn't seem like he doesn't. I joked.
Someone asked him if he's Kevin Durant without automatically knowing. He flipped out. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of
Why is the KD lowercase on my cup? You know, like
Yo, dudes will literally become like the best basketball player of all time instead of just going to therapy. It's like, dude, just go to therapy. You don't need to do all this basketball stuff, man. You'll
go to
be
therapy, my man.
What's next, though? Not to turn this into a Nets show, but like, what's next? Do they just try to run this back, or I mean, I guess you have to with Simmons and your salary cap all tied into that. I guess. Jeez.
I love it. It's amazing. You can see that this. It's
know.
amazing that the two betting favorites to start the year, the Nets and the Lakers, one of them's going to get into the play-in. Other one is eliminated, and both franchises could potentially be dismantled at the end of the year. You were talking about at the beginning of the year, we were talking about a Nets run that could last 3 or 4 years, and like you'd have no chance of cracking it, and they're just going to steamroll to title after title after title. You know, and
Yeah.
no, this is the amazing part. This is year 3 because you have the lost year of KD Achilles with Kyrie.
Well,
it's 3 years here. You know,
You know what this is?
He had injuries the whole
I think-
time, man.
yeah.
I mean, you could have made a case last season, but now it's official. I feel like this is like the death of the big 3. Like that whole like formula of like getting 3 superstars together and like going
I've
for
never
it. Like,
gotten it.
I don't think that happens again. Because think about it. All these guys max out. You're tied into paying them. You're trying to get loose parts, and the rest of the league catches up. I mean, that's exactly what happened. If you
One guy goes down and you're screwed because you have no depth and like you just
or
Right.
it's mismatched
And
because it's buddies and there's redundancies on the team and the fit doesn't
Right.
work. And
But
the
it's like, no,
rest
that's
of
my
your
guy, though. I need him here, right?
But
Your
and the other thing is
entire
like the
roster
league is
is
so
bottom
talented.
feeder.
Yeah, the league
Yeah.
is just so talented now too.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot of good players in the league that will just take your team down
But
if
they
you're
weren't
if they're
throwing
undermanned.
away. They weren't throwing
What?
around stupid money like they are now, man. Like everyone's getting maxed out.
I've always thought the 2 stars with the right pieces around them makes more sense. I don't get this big 3 thing,
Yeah.
this big 3 obsession. It is strange.
You know what it is though? It's the older players, John. It's the
I think
older
this is
players
it.
that are the older players are trying to latch onto each other and just go for like that
the
one
older
last
players that
run.
play GM. Yeah,
Exactly. They want to.
Yeah.
They want to get that one last title run in
You
them,
can-
and they think that they can just do it. All the boomers are getting together and
You
trying
can
to like
you can almost
plug in the
you
TV
can actually
in the back.
you can actually blame the Celtics if you think about it. But we'll put a ball in that conversation and get back to
let's bring our man Bobby here. He just got out of the post game. Bobby, start with
Bobby,
anything anything come out of post that was interesting?
Bobby,
Yeah, it feels like tomorrow's going to be a bit of a rest game just from the demeanor of everybody in the pressers. Al especially feels like it could be one for him. But I don't think there's a firm declaration on whether they'll tank this out and try to drop or they'll secure 2 tomorrow, which I looked at all the numbers. It kind of makes your head spin, but I'm almost certain they clinch 2 with a win tomorrow. So that's where they stand. We
No,
can
the
debate.
Sixers can win out. The Sixers
The
can
Sixers-
win out.
the
win
Sixers
three
still have 3
That's
games.
right. So you need a win and a Philly loss because the
Yeah,
Magic have
Sixers
a
can
Philly
win
loss,
out.
Yeah.
If you win out, obviously you control it. But tomorrow doesn't clinch the 2 outright because Philly can
A
win
Philly
3 games.
loss. A Philly
Yeah.
loss would. So you'd need that too.
Yeah.
It's
We're
a
doing
tough
this again,
call.
huh?
It really is. I mean, it's the
Bobby
story
just
of where
got
they're
here.
at right
Bobby,
now.
did- you know.
Let's
Bobby-
do it again.
I
All
think
right,
this.
so
I
what
think this is the
happened?
biggest. I think it's the biggest story out of tonight. You know, like you have the destiny in your hands. If you want to follow, you can make it happen. If you want to secure it, you can almost single-handedly make it happen. You own the rights to 2 if you play this out. And I don't think you'll get a ton of resistance if you want to secure it. You know, Memphis is certainly done. Milwaukee, probably a tough game tomorrow. We'll see who they're going to roll out there. I always saw Giannis is probable. So I still say go get it. Why not? Why be scared? Why? I know I heard John turned on this too in terms of Brooklyn. So you're on board with securing 2, John, at this point?
I'm all over the map. Don't listen to me. Like I still think I am. I'm all over the map on the matchup. I still fear Brooklyn.
Just
A
pick
bit.
one, John. Don't sit on the fence.
I can't. I'm trying. I want the
John
for
wants
the-
Toronto. Let's be honest.
for the store. Yes,
I
for the
want Toronto
stories,
for a bunch
I
of
want
reasons,
Brooklyn
but-
and Toronto for the stories.
Well,
For the
those are probably your 2 choices at this point,
For
right?
the
'Cause-
ease of it, I want Chicago or Cleveland in terms of what I think is going to be the easier matchup.
Yeah.
But I'm just lost. I'm totally lost. I can't land on it. I can't. I really don't know. I don't know anymore.
so
What
you
don't
want a hot
know?
take?
You don't even know what you don't know.
I don't have one. Why
You-
Why force it? I don't
you
have one.
If you want a hot take, I'm a little more scared of Toronto than Brooklyn.
Of course you are.
Oh, come on.
So here's my
Stop
explanation.
it. They're
You
not.
haven't
They're
been
not
scared of Brooklyn
watching.
at all, though.
The
They're
Raptors
not-
fans
the
aren't
fans aren't
watching.
here
Bobby.
tonight, Bobby.
Here's my
easy.
explanation on it.
All right.
So when have the Celtics looked at their worst? When they're getting stagnant offensively, they're not hitting shots, they turn the ball over. Those are things Toronto can do to you and kind of get the Celtics outside of their game. When the Celtics look their best, tonight, you're not facing a lot of resistance defensively. You're getting right downhill to the basket and you're scoring with relative ease and you're just piling it up on your opponent. Now, the Nets can go basket for basket with you, but I'm worried in a Toronto series, if you get stagnant against all those long defenders and I can rip off like 7 who would be good options against Tatum and Brown in that series, I think that's kind of an underrated, scary matchup. So I think that's another reason to get that too. Plus all the uncertainty we talk about of a trip to Toronto at this point. So get Brooklyn, get Cleveland. Who knows? Maybe Cleveland knocks off Brooklyn and you get Cleveland. Just put yourself in that 2 seed. You can rest the last game against Memphis and it'll all be great.
You know what's going to happen, right? I don't actually know if it's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
I don't know if it's going to
I've
happen.
never seen John this much on the
What
fence.
is
Come
it?
on, John.
I can't. I'm all over the place on this one. Like I said, I
Where you
can't
at,
settle in
Jimmy?
on it.
Where am I at? Who I want them to play?
Yeah.
I want them to play. Oh, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. The Bulls, the Raptors, or the Cavs. Any of those 3 teams, the Celtics should walk all over.
I'll be back.
So I asked who you want to play and you give me 3.
Okay. Wait. If I want them to just easily win, like cruise. I mean, I think they showed tonight that they can beat the Bulls, even though Caruso didn't play. I still think that they're going to beat the Bulls. I mean, the Cavs. I haven't seen the Cavs in a while, but I think a lot of people think that they're probably one of the weaker, if not the weakest, teams in the East playoffs.
They're reeling.
Just because of their inexperience. So I would pick the Cavs first as the easiest win, the Bulls second, and the Raptors third. The problem with the Raptors is I don't know if Al and Jaylen Brown are going to make the trip to Toronto. If they do,
That's another factor.
I think the Celtics win that series. The Raptors don't really scare me. I know that they have some talented players, but Jaylen Brown has had his way with Siakam for a couple of seasons now. And I just don't think the Raptors.
I was just gonna say, Bobby, is Siakam gonna show up? I don't know. That's a big question mark for
Yeah,
them.
So I
don't think the
think
Raptors
they'll
are
win
there
any
yet.
series. I think they'll win any series, but there's varying degrees of difficulty, right?
So that's
Yeah.
the order of difficulty, I think. And then
Yeah.
after that, you get into, now you're talking about maybe the Brooklyns or the Heat and whatnot.
Atlanta could be sneaky tough too. We don't really talk about them right now, but
We haven't
they're kind
mentioned
of in that
Atlanta
9-10
once.
seed.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't mentioned them once. I just don't
Yeah,
know.
guess-
they'd have to fight in. That's why.
They don't
Yeah,
play.
they-
They don't play.
There's still a possibility.
Complete game.
They'd need a lot of help. Yeah, they'd need a lot of
Yeah.
help to get up into that 7 seed. So, I mean, the Heat have the 1. So the highest you're looking at going is 2. Josue, like who let's say it's Raptors or Nets. Like, you have to make that choice tomorrow. If you fall, it's probably the Raptors. It could be the Bulls, but if you stay at 2, it's probably the Nets, let's say. Like, which direction are you going here?
Nets. And it's the tougher route, but I want that. You know why, Bobby? I think it's going to
I'm
build more
with you.
character for these guys.
Mhm.
I
It's
really
fun.
think it's going to build more character for these guys. And they get the reward is obviously the second round and Rob waiting for you in there. Maybe he's not there for game 1 or 2, but you got Rob waiting for you in the second round. You get to see Kyrie walk off the floor, whether it's in Brooklyn or Boston. If it's in Boston, it's even that much better, that much sweeter. Before you hopped on, we talked about Kevin Durant. I mean, this guy was at the table weighing his options, had Tom Brady saying, man, the city will love you. And he turned him down. If you're Brad Stevens, you can't help but think about that. You know, like I just think it would be poetic. It would be something that the basketball gods would come up with, and I think it'd be a
I wonder
nice
what
fitting,
Tom Brady would say today.
So
I'm glad you
think it'd be
said
a
that,
nice-
Josue.
I think it'd be a nice fitting like opportunity for the Celtics to boost their confidence and you know finally beat the guys that just seem to have always
beat the
been ahead, I
bully.
guess.
Yeah.
I was
So,
thinking of
Yeah,
that today,
beat the
too.
bully.
Like, isn't there something, John, you think of just the temperament of this team, seeing those guys on the other side sort of probably makes them rise to the occasion, right? Rather
lot
than a
of
team
good-
that
a lot of good
rather
can
than a
come
team
out
you
of it.
think you're gonna walk through. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
remember the
right.
bubble series against Toronto? It was like, oh, they're gonna breeze through these guys. And it was, I know
And
it's
they
2
did.
years ago and a
And they
much
did.
different team,
Right.
but
That was as lopsided
all right,
long
let's say
series.
Miami then.
I just feel like if they beat
The
if they beat
Toronto
the Nets
game was
without
like they dominated them in 5 games and won 4.
Let's say
and, like,
Miami then.
right.
You know, that's a series you go into and everyone's like, oh, you're gonna breeze through this team, and it gets a little
Who
more
says
difficult than
that?
you think.
So-
We all essentially had Boston that series, didn't we? In 2020?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed
Yeah.
that part. Sorry.
So
Yeah, that's
Bobby,
what I'm saying.
when you ask what I want, I should clarify. I did say what I wanted. It's just improbable. What I want is this because I don't think it's going to happen because I think they're going to rest everybody tomorrow. But I want the Celtics to beat Milwaukee, lose to Memphis, have Philly win out. I want Philly to get the 2, Boston to get the 3, Milwaukee to get the 4. Celtics start 3-6 versus Bulls and play Philly in round 2. That's what I'm looking for. Or
Oh yeah,
or
you said that. At the top.
or a
You wanted
potential
Bulls.
Philly Nets series, which would be friggin' fire. And
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
happens
Yeah.
there happens. You know,
Oh,
You know,
man.
Philly's not going to go for that, right? I mean, Philly's going to be the team that tanks us out, right? That's who they are.
maybe, but you have Embiid who's like insisting on the scoring title, so he wants to score like 70 points a night and make his MVP case. So he's out there friggin' trying to earn personal awards.
And they have an easy
Yeah.
schedule relatively too.
But that's
So-
what I want. It's just hard to get to that path. But that's my favorite path is a 3-2 because the 3-2 versus Milwaukee sucks. So I would like to engineer a 3-2 versus Philly. I just don't know how that happens.
I
That's
don't
going to be
either
harder.
because, like, the Bucks are gonna race to the finish line here, right? They're not gonna be resting anyone or scared of anything. Philly,
Well, they got a back-to-back too.
opposite.
They got 3 games in 4 days because they play Boston, then they have another one on Friday, and then they
Yeah,
close on
everyone-
Sunday. So they might not go all out either.
I've
Everyone's
never
got that
seen it this
back-to-back.
tight. Yeah, I've never
Are the
seen
Bucks
3 teams this
are the
tight at the
Bucks
top.
getting too much respect by everybody? I mean, the Celtics
No,
played,
They're the best team.
No,
but the
they're
Celtics
unreal.
played them pretty well this year.
I think it's the Bucks and the Celtics for the East at this point. If we're going to take a big picture right now, I think those are the 2 prohibitive favorites here, as based off what we've seen, and Rob coming back and all of that. But I think the Bucks have a slight edge over the Celtics right now, just given that uncertainty and the fact that, as John said, like we're kind of looking at the way it's shaking out now, a Bucks Celtics round 2. So that's tricky, just with Rob's timeline. If you think they're going to win round 1, and I think that's where we're all at, right? Like the expectation is, no matter who we kick around for this first round series, the Celtics should win. Especially the Bulls now. Like that's an underrated possibility in all of this. That could be the easiest series of all, the way they're trending. I know Jimmy throws out the Cavs, but I think
So
we
that's
all
where I
kind of
went.
think the Cavs are falling
That's
out
my
of this.
optimal is 3-6 Bulls with Philly as the 2. If that could happen, that's the best path that I see. And that I would like to see.
You probably
there.
sweep that series, the way they're looking.
What, Sixers?
The Bulls.
Chicago, yeah.
Oh, right. Chicago would be. I feel like Sixers are going to be a tough out. I mean, like you said, John, Embiid's on a mission. I mean, if you get Rob back and he's not 100%, I mean, Embiid's going to be attacking either Rob or Tice or Al down low. These guys going to go to the free throw line 30 times. Tice is going to be fouled out within 4 minutes of the game, and then you're going to be super thin.
Cornette's
Yeah, it's going to be a Cornet game. It's going to be a Cornet game, which is right what Bobby wants to happen. But I'm not sure if the rest of Celtics Nation would agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for Ime and the crew on the train tonight or whatever. However they get into Milwaukee driving, just
You
like
can, Bobby.
writing
Bobby,
down all the scenarios.
get over there right now. Leave. Gotta hop on.
Oh man, like that. That's so crazy. And I remember he was looking back last time we talked to him after whatever game it was at like a Spurs scenario where they were 2 and I think they fell to 7
Oh, and they
on the
fell to
last day of the
7.
season.
I remember that. Yeah, they fell one.
So
one
this
game, they
is
fell to
crazy
7.
what we're looking at right now. And listen, I know we're all kind of down on the Nets at this point, but you might regret it a little bit if you fight
You don't
hard
get
for
to
that
say
too.
that.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just putting it out there as a possibility.
You were so against
No,
that.
you can't do that. That's what I've been doing.
I
You've
was-
been
I
killing me
was-
for it.
No, I was never gonna say you were
Mr.
gonna
Pick a
breeze.
side over here.
I never said you're gonna breeze through Brooklyn. I just have confidence that you can beat
They're
them.
the
And it wasn't
No,
a
scariest
scary
what
team.
you
Actually,
said,
you know what?
Bobby,
You know
is
what?
that they
You know
might
who
not
said
even
that?
make the
Sherrod
playoffs.
said that. Sherrod was like Celtics in 5. I was like, whoa. Easy.
Well, Bobby said they might not
It'd
even
be
get
a-
out of the playing round. That's what he said.
It'd be a battle, but
Sherrod
character
said that too.
building, I agree with Josue on that
Charlotte.
front, and the defense. I just don't see it from them. So I think you feel good about going against them round 1 and really battling it out. I guess the only other downside to that is if you go 7 with them or something like that, that can burn you out for round 2. So I don't know. There's pros
you
and
could
cons
lose
to
that
all
game
of
to
Now
this.
Seven.
you're all over the place. You were getting on me earlier.
No, I'm just weighing everything. I'm weighing
So
all the
am I.
considerations here.
No,
called
I'm
me a
just weighing
flip-flopper.
everything.
All right,
Let's
let's
play
put
this
it,
shit, all right?
But an
Well,
hour.
here's
of
the
this.
thing.
play
Jimmy
it
got-
out. Play it
Jimmy-
out. There's my definitive stance. Play
Bobby's
it
like,
out.
I'm putting
Jimmy
stuff on the
joked
scale.
about it.
all right?
Jimmy joked about it, but the reality is it's impossible to control. So do whatever is in the best interest of your team, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You can't control it, and that's it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this again tomorrow night, and we'll have a little bit closer of a picture, but we still won't know. We still won't know for sure.
gonna be
tomorrow
doing
either,
more
but we'll have the
scenarios on
same
the air.
conversation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This shit drives Bobby. I mean, it shit drives Jimmy crazy.
All right.
No, I
we got
get
about
it.
30 seconds
It could
left.
be the Bulls, could be the Hawks, could be the Nets, or it could be like
Could be the Hornets for all we know. We haven't even mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's do 20 minutes on the Hornets if it could be them.
We got about
Hey.
30 seconds left. If you guys want to quickly talk about Jaylen Brown tonight,
Why do we have 30 seconds left? You got?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
it's after the hour mark. So
Oh, because it's Jaylen Brown. Yeah, we're at the 1 hour mark. We can officially.
You haven't
talk about
mentioned
Jaylen
Brown yet?
I led
No,
with
what,
Jalen.
was he all right tonight?
He was awesome.
Come on, 10 straight.
Josue, let me
25
throw this
plus.
at you on Brown. And
Yeah.
whoever else wants to comment on this too. You've talked a lot about the first quarter, Brown, Josue making that. Well, no, Josue brought this up.
Yeah.
The first
He'll
quarter,
drop
Brown.
17 and then
Yeah.
drop 25 at the end. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you seem to like him in that role, like setting the table. I think he's top 10 now in first quarter points per game. Is that like part of the plan, or is that just kind of what's happening here? And should that be like their route of attack offensively, is setting up him early and kind of letting him roll and set the table? Because it happens more often than not for whatever reason.
I think that's part of the plan. I mean, we talked about it before. I think that's a good way to keep him engaged. Not to say that like he tends to not go with the game plan, but I think because he's got a lot going on defense, just like everyone else, he's able to find his stride and just, I guess, give you more on both ends when he's hot in the first quarter. You know what I mean? It's just that in that fourth quarter, depending on what the score looks like, Celtics will need him also to contribute down the stretch. I think sometimes he tends to shy away from those moments. But him playing the way he's been playing those to start off games, I think you want to keep that going. You want to you want Jaylen to feel like that's his thing, and I think that would be huge for the Celtics, especially when you look at the way they've been defending out of the gates, in the playoffs. That would be great if they had that still part of it as a part of their identity.
All right. That was our Jaylen talk. What else you guys want to talk about?
I was talking.
Any
Jaylen.
Tice?
No, we talked about Tice.
Yeah.
Bobby, I don't think, I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's a game plan. You just got to let the game come to you. I don't think you're forcing one guy early to get him going versus something else. Because we've talked about those games where Tatum goes through that first 6-minute rotation and comes out and really doesn't get going. I don't like those games. I want him involved early too, so I don't love it. I don't love it when Jaylen goes off on those 13-point runs. They're great for him and great for the team, but I don't like Tatum getting blanked in that first stint there, because it's really short. Like I know each team does their rotations different, but Celtics pulling your best player out at the 6-minute mark doesn't really give him a lot of time to ramp up.
Is Tatum at a point though where he can start 2 for 7, and we've seen him do this a lot
That's
this
funny.
year, and
Yeah.
be fine with it and just keep doing his thing as a passer and play? I never thought he'd get to that Butler route, but he's getting closer than I thought he would be in terms of just like, whatever, I'm shooting terrible, I'm gonna make all the right plays anyway.
I'm glad he did tonight because the eye test, I was actually shocked when I saw his line and he shot as poorly as he did. It felt like he had a better overall game than the final stat line.
Because he's
showed.
doing the other things.
Yeah, he was really getting guys involved tonight. Yeah, the 3-point shot was just way off tonight, but just getting guys involved, letting everybody get a chance at getting their shots up. I mean, Pritchard, Tice, you talked about Jalen already. I mean, guys that generally, not Jalen, but some guys like Tice, for example, that don't generally have a huge part in this offense, they were able to get some shots up tonight, and they were able to contribute on the offensive end and Tatum didn't have to, and there have been certain games where, we can remember some of those games where he was really, really cold to start the beginning of this year and last
laughing at
year.
that one.
Yeah,
it didn't come out right. I just don't like it. I don't like it when Tatum doesn't get shots up until like halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all.
you're right. Like there are
It
times,
sounded dumb.
there are times where Brown does go on one of those streaks, but you just ride the hot hand, I think, in that situation. And I don't think Jason Tatum's like pouting in the corner because he's not getting a shot. Like he obviously has the ability to take shots of his own as well, but he's passing. One of the things we can say about Tatum this year, one of the many things, is that he's become a much better passer. People talk about his defense, but he's looking to pass the ball a lot more. He's not forcing shots the way he used to. He's trusting his teammates. I think that's a big part of it, is these guys trust each other a lot more than they did in previous seasons. So they're willing to, pass up the shot or trust that maybe he'll get the ball back if he does give it up, instead of just saying, I'm going to get mine right now. So that might be a little bit of what you're seeing out there.
There's a great dynamic between them right now. There really is. And I think it's only going to expand into the playoffs. I get so excited about what Sherrod said in terms of like there might be stuff we haven't seen in terms of plays between these two. They're going to keep this rolling into round one, I think.
Secret plays.
Hey, if it's just a little pick and roll that we haven't
Look,
seen much of, I'll still get excited about it.
We talked about this on Spaces a little bit. Like,
shout out Spaces for all the people that didn't jump on. Why don't you tell them about Spaces, John?
Yeah, suckers. It was fun. We just jumped on. We just impromptu went
Twitter
on there.
Spaces. It's it's kind of like Locker Room or like what Spotify was for a hot second before we bailed because it stunk. But we might just pop on a Twitter Spaces either before a game or after a game, just kind of continue the convo, or if it's pregame before playoffs. Like it was pretty fun, and it's easy to just hop on there and shoot the shit for a bit.
Yeah, so it was fun. We had a good time talking. We had some old timers on there. We had Chris, we had Ore, Kess. I would have liked to get you on there, but it was kind of out of nowhere, so we didn't really have a chance to promote it. We'll start doing more of these in the playoffs, post game style, like we did before. We'll talk here, and then you guys can do the talking after on Spaces, which is fun. But one of the things we talked about was like, not reinventing yourself, but just figuring out how you're going to play it without Rob here, and like how long it would take and the growing pains. And one of the things we talked about was winning a different way. Like, okay, you had the formula with Rob, now it might involve, you just think you're just going to come in.
Empty chair.
No, I did that. I actually did that.
Had to charge my phone.
Jimmy let him in.
Dude, I thought he was waiting to come in, and then
he was on the bike.
As soon as they hit click,
he's on the bike.
Yeah, as soon as I went to plug in, go ahead.
Yeah, like no, JT and Jalen have like
JB
leveled up. They leveled up, and so like now you're winning. Like again, like Brown's like I didn't see it coming. Like his handle was awful all year, and it was like, what happened to this guy? And the last like 8-10 games, it's
Did
back.
You see the
right?
3 again today? The little crossover pull up.
It's back on a string, and it's like it's not. I mean, and it makes all the difference. So now he's getting where he wants to go. I'm shocked when he misses a pull up 3 or a 3 off a screen. Like it's just a different level. He's just on a different level right now. So those guys will just have to kind of carry you a little bit more in that first round, and then you get Rob back and you kind of fall into your old patterns with what you had going on there with that, just starting 5, just stomping people out. So again, I'm confident in it, but you needed that to happen instead of like Tice is going to come in and do what Rob does. That's ridiculous. Not even close. But Brown's playing on a different level right now than he has been most of the year, and like at the perfect time because he had perfect time because he hadn't been
perfect time.
No, we freaked out about Rob's impact, but that understated the
Facts, my dog.
The power of the two stars at the top and the level they were playing at, and they're able to utilize a Tyson and Horford as effectively as they had been Rob, and it'll be even better if Rob comes back and plays at that form. But if these two are rolling at this level, you're almost fully confident that they're going to get it done round one. And we thought the margins would be slimmer too, right? Like every game that they were going to be playing would be scrap it out to the finish line, no matter who it is. That's what I thought it would be here. And now they've beaten Washington by 40. I think Washington got a little undersold going into that game. I think they were 5-5 over their last 10 entering that one, but they made them look like they stunk. And Chicago here, who hasn't been playing well, but you ran them off the court. So you can still do that with the formula you were playing with before, and it's ball movement, right? Their assist percentage into this was 70% without Rob, which is just ridiculous, and piling up stops and forcing turnovers. They're doing all the same stuff. It's not the same scheme. It's not the same system, but the formula is the same.
Well, that's what we started with that's what Bobby, before you got here, what we started with was that, post Rob, you have the Toronto game where no one plays. You got to throw that out. Didn't like what we saw against Miami. That kind of had, December Celtics vibes with the meltdown in the fourth quarter and just the way that they played in that one. Indiana game was a really poor showing defensively, bad communication, just giving up way too many easy shots. Just not a good game. And they beat them, but still not great. Then you beat the crap out of a Wizards team that's got nobody playing for them. So this was the first game where they without Rob looked like great. Did everything. It was everything on a string, the communication, the defense, everything was connected, offensively whipping the ball around. They just looked great. They looked like they were a different class of team than Chicago.
They looked like who they were before.
Yeah, they looked like the same version, right?
They are who we thought they were.
We saw, and it took them 4 games to do that, but it's good to see it because
that's what Al said. That's what Al said.
You wanted to see it before the playoffs. What did he say?
He said, we know who we are. Like, there's nothing left to prove. There's not much left to figure out. Smart pretty much agreed with that. Like, they can't be the team that they were with Rob, but they're basically doing everything that they possibly can to be whatever the best version without Rob is. So I'm shocked. I didn't think it was going to come together this quickly, but that's another reason I think both John and I like Ime for Coach of the Year. Like, it's just boom, 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 boom. It all comes together quickly.
Someone said it. Kess actually said it in the chat earlier. Same exact thing was like, this was worrisome a little bit that like they might not have enough runway to play without Rob to kind of figure out like, are they the same? Are they doing the same exact stuff? Do they need to adjust a little bit? Do they just go in and do whatever they were doing before? Because you're just running out of time, and you're playing these games and you don't know that you want to play your starters, balls out the whole way, all the way to the last game of the season. So I'm like, this was like the game you really wanted to see it from them. And you did. And like you said in the post game, they were kind of like, good. Yep. This is us. This looks right. We're all set, ready to go for the playoffs. It almost feels like this was like the final tune up, we're good. We got it. We know what we're doing. We'll see you guys in a week.
Yeah. Right.
It's amazing. 50 wins after last year.
But how quick
how they started.
50 wins.
They got him here in like 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 games in the post-Rob world. Like, okay, just don't worry. Just trust the system. Get back to what you're doing and boom,
Yeah. It's amazing what they've done.
I think
Ime's great.
I think Draymond Green's podcast, I think he said Ime should be Coach of the Year on his podcast. I thought I saw a tweet that said that.
They really don't love the rookie coaches, I remember how long it took to like get Brad. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like
there's some annoying tendencies in all these awards. Like in Coach of the Year.
Yet. Yeah.
Well, I think part of it too is Coach of the Year. It's like who's got the best record? Boom, Coach of the Year. Which Monty Williams. I'm not taking it away from him, but I mean it's kind of a racing train and what they got going there at this point. I know they've had a few injuries, but I don't know. It'll be tight between those two. I think.
Well.
I don't think at all, actually.
On tonight. I don't know if they benched other guys, but they're down by like 30 points.
Who is?
The Suns are down by 30 points tonight, right now, 76-44. I don't know if
I
they
don't understand how it's Monty Williams. They were in the freaking finals.
I know,
Yeah.
but they do
year.
that a lot.
That's ridiculous.
Devin
It's
Booker's
usually
not
like
playing
it's an exceed
You think
expectation.
Ime's gonna win, John?
Yeah.
No.
Like Doc never won it.
But he should.
I think he should too. But I'm just saying that's how the voters usually roll with
It's
this.
insane. They went to the finals last year. Like, it's not a turnaround season.
Yeah, a lot of it's narrative, and the Celtics get some narrative rolling around them, but a lot of the stuff we love about Ime and that we dig into here, like you do have to kind of be around him day in, day out, and listen to all the stuff, and just kind of see how
more
all
of a
his
local thing. I feel like
Yeah.
all his predictions came together. I mean, if there was more quick campaigning for him, I'd feel better about it. But is everyone like shouting the good word of Ime? Maybe we need to do more of that. I don't know.
But
I mean,
don't you think?
to be honest, like 60, like the Suns are gonna win minimum 63 games. Like that's a shitload of wins.
If they-
It's hard
yeah.
to not get coach
But
of the year.
don't you think that the Celtics being a national disaster was a major national story? They're getting dogged on like halftime at TNT on nights they weren't even playing by Shaq. And those,
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
the
this
Celtics-
season they were. This season
So,
they were.
to be such a colossal failure and disappointment, and people are talking about break these guys up and they don't get it, and the players suck, and then to have a turnaround like this when you've already deemed like the players, like it's these guys, they'll never get it. They did it to Brad and they're doing it to this guy again. You can't fix it. They're losers. And then and then they turn around like that. Who are you crediting other than the coach there? That's what I don't get.
Are the Celtics going under the radar a little bit nationally, though? I think they might
Now,
be.
no, dude, are you kidding? They're the hot pick. I think Rob slowed the momentum a tad, but
A
prior
little
to the
bit,
Rob
yeah.
injury, I think everybody was like, I'm going Celtics. How could you pick against them? I think a lot of people had them marked for the finals the way they were playing before Rob got hurt. Now it's
I'm talking about now. So we'll see.
Now it's kind of I think everyone's looking at it as a crapshoot. Milwaukee's the easy default because they're the defending champs, but I think a lot of people were on the Celtics bandwagon before the injury.
I'm interested.
The Celtics were the hot team. They were the team that everyone was turning into choosing, and then Rob went down. But you know what? It's better not to have the target on your back and all the national and media hype on you.
Right.
You know, it's better for them to just sort of like
That's what Josue said about Brooklyn. Like you could feasibly go into Brooklyn, I think, and be underdogs in that series. Remember the Suns-Lakers one last year where the Lakers were heavy favorites in Vegas against the Suns, even though the Suns were the 1 seed, I think they were, or 2. But you could be in that spot going against Brooklyn round 1, and everyone says, oh, it's Durant, it's Irving. How are you going to beat that? And that's almost where you want to be. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but that's like where the Celtics sweet spot is temperamentally. We know this team, right? Like if it's looking easy, if they're kind of comfortable, you're probably going to disappoint you a little bit. If the doubt starts to creep in and, they're underdogs and there's, especially for Tatum, big stars on the other side that he needs to one up, I feel great about them temperamentally entering a series like that. I'm almost rooting for it. Wouldn't that be exciting for us? Like Nets Celtics right off the bat, toughest team you can run into, and then you prove yourself round 1.
Yeah.
Pretty damn
it would be the most fun for sure. I mean, Tatum and Brown.
And the entire Garden report might be able to hop on the Amtrak and go down. Think of that.
There you go. Tatum and Brown they get up for that type of a matchup. Like they want to prove themselves, like especially
I'll go.
Kyrie being the player that used to be on their team. Like they want to prove that they're better than those guys. And
I got a couple places I can hole up in Brooklyn. I'd head down for that.
Yeah,
let's do it. All right, everybody, comments. Root for the Nets round 1.
It's fun.
Yes, let's do it. Come on, this will be fun.
All
right.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about more tomorrow.
Yeah, we got another one tomorrow, so we got to stay fresh. We got to back to back. I don't think any of us are resting.
See you guys in 20 hours.
You want to continue the chat, head over to the Discord server right now, clnsmedia.com/Discord.
Might start a room in the Discord. It's an hour behind here, so.
Jeez, you just talked today, huh? We did spaces and this.
No, I didn't talk much on this, though.
Spaces.
I'm going to make up for it, yeah.
I know.
I've been bouncing around Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
Bob, care to comment on your deep dish while we have you?
Right.
All right. This is
everyone
huge development. Wow. All right. So we went to a spot, Giordano's. I will shout them out. I will do free advertising.
That's one of the famous ones. Yeah.
Yes. So I went to
Giordano's.
I went to the high-end one just to give it a chance because I didn't think I was going to like it. But it came through in a big way. The crust was fantastic. The cheese was really tasty. There it is. We got mushrooms, peppers, pepperoni. So I think it was a good combination.
No, there's 4
I'll
toppings.
fill it out.
You got 4 toppings.
John,
Yeah,
you
no
want to go
vegetable
full screen on me real quick, bud?
Did you do onions?
Oh, there might be onions in there. So 4.
All
Yeah.
right. Everyone
The crust
tell
was
Bobby what he did wrong.
fantastic. The cheese was tasty.
Come on.
I guess the only thing is, it made me feel fuller than I've ever felt before.
Oh yeah, look. There we go. That's clear. Don't tell me that's not clear. This is the picture Bobby sent. So Bobby, you want to take us through here?
Yeah, the sauce was tasty. The cheese was, I think, a great combination. All the toppings we picked were on point. I didn't pick them, but
Well, you got to tell us the toppings right now.
Pepperoni, peppers, mushrooms, and I guess John sees onions. I kind of forget, but
I thought that's what the text said because
you said
I thought you
I
said
think
that
it was
too.
just 3.
Yeah.
I got.
Oh, it might have been onions. Whatever.
I got my 3. I got my
onions
3
are like a
topping-
throw-in.
I got a 3 topping rule, which is you should never exceed 3 toppings.
No,
on a
You
pizza.
don't even notice onions.
Bobby, you
That's
went
true.
4 toppings. You
That's true.
went pepperoni, pepper, onion, and mushroom.
All right.
Well, at least 3 of them are veggie. I'm not gonna lie.
When I was
younger,
he was like, "Give me this, give me this, give me that."
Well, that's what
I
made
used to be
me.
crazy
That's what
about
made
the
me
extra
so
toppings,
full.
but now, yeah.
I gotta hit hard on the crust. The crust was so tasty. It really was.
That's the thing.
Nice
It's like
crunch.
a biscuit, right?
Yeah.
You got a
It's
score
like-
for
Yeah.
us?
And it wasn't too oily. I was expecting it to be wicked oily. I'm gonna give it a
1 bite. What do you got? 1 through 10. 1 bite.
that one specifically 8.5.
8.5.
Wow,
Okay,
8.5.
Solid score.
All
It's a
right.
good score. Good score.
I didn't want to
But
kill
you-
it
I
too
gotta-
much because I was like I
I
was
gotta
getting
try
ready
it.
to fall over after, but
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
those
that
are-
one.
amazing.
You gave us a picture of the last slice, so you obviously did some work on that thing.
Yeah, I ate way too much of it. But
Was it way better than Uno's?
I never had Uno's. That was my first deep dish.
Oh, damn.
So
Damn. You can never go to Uno's now.
Josue, don't
You
go
can
to
never
a
go.
I think I'll
Is-
just leave it at this. I
is
think I'm
there
done with deep
Uno's?
dish.
Josue. You can't even say the word Uno's when you go into a place like that. They'll slap you silly, man.
No, I know. That's why I'm like Bobby. That's why I'm like Bobby. You know the contrast, but now you don't.
Is Uno's good?
I mean, dude, I mean, is McDonald's good if you
it's
want a burger?
alright.
I don't know, like
Yeah, exactly. It's all right.
I
but
don't
it's
know,
not like
how
it's not authentic.
sophisticated is your palate, man?
authentic
I don't know.
deep dish.
I think this is the most
Yeah.
we got out of Chicago, John.
You
There's,
go to the
there's your
99 for a
return on
steak. I
investment.
don't know, like you telling me.
You got to try it. You're out there, you do it. I went to, where did I go? Gene and Giorgetti's Steakhouse. They got great steakhouses too, but you're gonna drop some dough. I went to like one of the old school ones last time I was there. Run by Greeks. I think it was Gene and Giorgetti.
I was gonna say it was a Greek spot. Yeah,
That one was. Those are awesome too. So a good Chicago steakhouse, you got to grab the pizza too when you can. Because whatever when in
Yeah, I
Rome.
mean, I'll be honest. I've never had it, so I can't.
It's good. I've had Giordano's a couple times. It's a different food. It's almost a different classification. I almost just don't even rate it as a pizza. It's its own thing,
it was
right.
a different feeling stepping out of
It's
there.
like a pie.
Yeah.
But
What do you mean?
It's like a lasagna.
It's just not really pizza. It's just its own
No, I'm
thing.
saying-
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but at other places they don't do like slices, right? They do the square stuff. They cut them up like that. That's what I've been told. I don't know. Like
Not
that's
there.
it.
Just
If you
wait,
don't
let
want if you don't want deep dish, I hear most places they don't give you like a classic slice. They have it like
like Sicilian style.
Like
Sicilian
Roman style.
style. Sicilian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me explain it, Josue. I
my
never
people in
felt that
Italy.
full before. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I
Bobby,
thought you meant
need to-
like.
Bobby,
okay.
you're on a business trip, man. You need to pull it together. You can't be getting.
No, he
sick.
did it right. No, he
He's
went there the night
swiping-
before though.
swiping
He
the
did it
company
right.
card. He's spending hundreds of dollars on pizza.
If
over
he
there.
did this shit today, he'd be passing out right now. So
I
he
had a
did it
hot
right.
dog,
He did
too.
He did it last
Food
night.
coma in the middle of the game.
I guess
Yeah,
the
he
hot
would've been
dogs
done.
are a thing. I don't like hot dogs, so I was.
You don't like hot
Oh,
dogs?
really?
No.
You don't like hot dogs?
It's one of my least favorite foods.
Really?
What? Get this
Yeah.
guy. Get this guy out of here. man. Get him out of here.
I mean,
Everybody
I'm not
likes hot
crazy about
dogs,
him, but
dude.
It's no
Dude,
turkey
little
burger.
summer, little July 4th. Who's not scoffing down a couple of dogs?
Let's get a turkey dog. We'll get that.
It works.
Can you get like
Oh,
a can you
no,
get like a
Like
haddock
Bobby.
dog?
mustard, relish, onions.
Bobby,
I mean,
are you the
really-
guy
I
who
mean,
pulls
you can
up
do
with
so many
turkey
things
hot
with
dogs?
with a dog, dude.
The cookout.
No, turkey burgers.
Turkey dogs, even you can.
That
go
was in the March
route.
Madness bracket, by the way, wasn't it, John? That one
Turkey
didn't make
burgers
it
was
far
in there.
enough.
Yeah.
I
Turkey
can't
burger.
even know hot dogs. I'm not even gonna ask this question. It's a topic for another day. I'm gonna ask it another time. I'm gonna ask it.
Okay,
About
good.
hot dogs, but-
All right, we're gonna wrap. We're gonna wrap. We
I
got
had
another
one last thing I have to ask you guys.
Last point.
What do you think if the NBA, instead of playing
What do you
full
think of my
games-
phone?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of this right here? Can I show you something?
That's what he does,
Wait,
John.
can you guys?
The,
Can you
the
guys
three of
see
us.
this? Oh, it's midnight. Look at that. Can you guys? It's midnight over here.
Oh crap! I didn't do today's Wordle.
Oh, neither did I. I got it. I started doing it, but I'm not gonna.
Damn
Hold
it.
on. Jimmy,
yeah, we
Jimmy's
know you
gonna
didn't.
forget the question.
We know you didn't do it because you didn't tweet it out, and not that anyone.
I
cares.
only do the. I only tweet when I get it in 2, and I've only done that like 4 times. Anyway, go
All right.
ahead.
Hear me out. What if instead of a full NBA game, hear me out here. Instead of a
I've only
full
done it
NBA
like
game,
4 times.
they played 2. They played 2 games, but they cut the time in half, so it's like a 2-game series. So
I don't even think I started listening to this.
you get
Yeah.
basically get 2 seconds.
I think we
basically
all
get
You
feel the
2
lost
same
me
seconds
way.
half
at
of
you lost me
basketball.
at cut in half.
I
2
checked
games
out.
in half, yeah.
I
I
checked
think
out
all
before
3
you
of us
started.
did the same
No,
thing.
you get. Hear me out. You get 2 second halves of basketball.
John
instead
was
of
like, "You got
one
nothing."
first half
No.
and one second.
All
But
right,
they're
end
2
the show,
separate
John.
games.
I'm trying.
But you
I'm
get like
I'm promising. My first
think
guess on
about how
Wordle, I
good the
got
second
3
half
letters.
of basketball is, though.
I got
This is
3
like
letters. And I
this is like
placed one.
Wiggy's. This is like Wiggy's 4
So it's like
extra
a 2. It's like baseball. It's like a 2-game series, but each half is a win or a loss. Instead of why play the first half? You know.
Okay, there
Bobby
goes
goes,
Jimmy.
all right. Bobby goes, all right, John, end the show. Damn. I've never heard Bobby be so hostile.
Write an
Good.
article,
Pull the
Jimmy.
plug, John.
Put that
Pull
one
the
up
plug,
on
John.
CLNS.
Something to
Bobby's
think-
got work to
something to
do.
consider.
Bobby's got work.
It's
She's
just
got to
something
travel.
consider.
I got to sleep. I got kids. I got to get them up in the morning.
Yeah, Bob, you got a quick turnaround. You got an hour
School
left
night,
until
guys.
midnight.
We got MCAS tomorrow. Okay.
Oh wow,
Oh,
Common
boy.
Core type stuff. I hear the Common
I'm
Core is
taking
taking
the
over.
I'm taking the Amtrak to Milwaukee at 1.
All right. Good. We don't need to talk about any of this stuff on the air. We'll text each other. Okay.
All right.
Good night.